The crimson glow of the breached atmosphere bathed the fleet in an eerie light as Captain Rhea Voss's voice crackled over the comms. "This is our new beginning. A cradle for humanity among the stars." Her words hung heavy, a fragile hope shattered moments later when the first tremor rippled through the hull. Alarms screamed across the decks, and the crew scrambled to decipher the chaos unfolding around them. Outside, the planet's surface churned violently, rivers of molten energy surging where once there had been calm. Swarms of bioluminescent creatures erupted from the shadows, their jagged forms slicing through the air like living shards of glass. Rhea gripped the console, her knuckles white, and whispered, "We thought we were saviors. What if we're invaders?" The question lingered, unanswered, as the ship shuddered again. Somewhere in the chaos, a crew member shouted about seismic readings spiking uncontrollably. Whatever Eden X7 was, it wasn't going to submit without a fight. As the ground split open beneath their machines, Rhea locked eyes with Mira, the ship's scientist, who already seemed to suspect the truth. Something ancient and alive stirred beneath their feet, and it wasn't pleased. The crew had only begun to glimpse the consequences of their arrival, but the planet was already writing its response in fire and fury. What they didn't know yet was that this was just the beginning of a far deeper reckoning. As the dust began to settle from the initial clash, a fragile calm fell over the fractured landscape of Eden X7. It was then that the humans first encountered the Luminae, an intelligent species whose presence seemed woven into the very fabric of the planet. Their forms shimmered with a soft, radiant glow, their movements accompanied by a symphony of harmonic vibrations that painted the air with otherworldly holograms. Through these projections, their leader, Solon, conveyed a dire warning: "You bring death under the guise of life." His voice resonated not just in their ears but deep within their chests, carrying an authority that demanded attention. The fragile peace shattered when one of the terraforming drones malfunctioned. Its fiery beam lashed out, scorching a sacred grove revered by the Luminae. The devastation rippled beyond the physical, striking at the heart of their culture and beliefs. Security Chief Elias Drake's shout pierced the chaos, "They're attacking us. We have no choice but to defend ourselves." As the crew scrambled to shield themselves from the Luminae's retaliation, yet amidst the fury, Dr. Mira Quinn remained eerily focused. Her fingers danced across her console, capturing fragments of the Luminae's harmonic language. Her instincts told her these patterns held answers far greater than anyone could imagine. As the skirmish subsided and the crew regrouped, Mira whispered under her breath, her voice trembling with realization, "If we destroy them, we destroy ourselves." Mira retreated to the lab, her mind racing with possibilities as she delved deeper into the Luminae's harmonic data. What she uncovered left her shaken to her core. Eden X7 wasn't merely a planet, it was alive, a single conscious entity whose vast network of ecosystems functioned as its nervous system. Every action the humans took, every drone deployed, every structure erected, was akin to severing vital arteries. She confronted Captain Rhea Voss, her words urgent and unyielding. "Every action we take disrupts its balance. We're not just reshaping terrain, we're killing it." Rhea hesitated, her resolve wavering under the weight of Mira's revelation, but the specter of failure loomed larger still. Earth's government had sent them here with expectations, and abandoning the mission now felt like an impossible choice. Meanwhile, Solon reached out to Mira in secret, his holographic form flickering with a mix of desperation and hope. "Help us heal what you've broken, or face extinction," he pleaded. Mira agreed, though unease gnawed at her. Betrayal from either side could ignite another conflict, one neither party might survive. As she worked tirelessly to decipher more of the Luminae's harmonic code, ominous tremors began to ripple across Eden X7. The planet groaned and shifted, its fury building like a storm that refused to break. Mira felt the clock ticking down, each rumble a reminder that time was running out. Tensions within the human camp reached a boiling point when Elias uncovered Mira's covert alliance with the Luminae. He stormed into the lab, his face flushed with anger. "You've been feeding them intel. Do you care more about them than your own kind?" His accusation hung heavy in the air, but before Mira could respond, the planet itself answered. Geysers of molten energy erupted across the surface, swallowing the terraforming facilities whole. Alarms blared as Captain Rhea ordered an evacuation, her voice cutting through the pandemonium. But Mira refused to budge, her voice rising above the chaos. "If we don't fix this now, there won't be a future for anyone." For a moment, Elias hesitated, his anger giving way to a grudging understanding of the stakes. Together, they turned their focus to decoding the final piece of the Luminae's harmonic code, racing against time to stabilize the planet, or seal its doom. As the team prepared for their final, desperate gambit, the air was thick with both hope and dread. Mira and Elias stood at the edge of a gaping chasm, staring into the depths of Eden X7's subterranean network. The device they carried, a culmination of Solon's wisdom and Mira's relentless determination, was their last chance to mend the fragile bond between humanity and the sentient planet. "We're not just fixing a machine," Mira said, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "We're trying to heal a living being, a being that's been fighting for survival just like us." Elias nodded, his usual brash demeanor softened by the gravity of their mission. "Then let's hope it doesn't fight back too hard." The journey downward was harrowing, each step fraught with peril. The tunnels groaned under the strain of the planet's fury, walls buckling and collapsing without warning. Swarms of bioluminescent creatures, their forms both beautiful and terrifying, darted through the shadows. Mira couldn't help but marvel at the strange beauty of Eden X7, even as it threatened to swallow them whole. "It's like the planet is alive in every sense," she murmured, more to herself than to Elias. "Every movement, every sound, it's all connected." Elias shot her a glance, his expression unreadable. "Let's just hope we don't end up part of that connection." During a brief respite in a relatively stable cavern, Solon's holographic form appeared, flickering like a candle in the wind. His presence was both comforting and haunting, a reminder of the stakes they faced. "Our ancestors walked this path long ago," he said, his voice heavy with sorrow. "They sought to control the planet, believing they could bend its will to their own. They failed, and it nearly consumed us. The scars of their hubris still linger, buried deep within Eden X7's core." Mira felt a chill run down her spine, not from fear but from the weight of the lesson Solon shared. "We're not here to control," she said firmly. "We're here to listen, to understand, to heal." Solon's form shimmered, almost as if he were smiling. "Then may your understanding guide you where ours could not." The final stretch of their descent was the most treacherous. The tunnels grew narrower, the air hotter and heavier with each step. The distant hum of the planet's core grew louder, a sound that was both mesmerizing and unnerving. Then came the swarm, a relentless tide of bioengineered creatures that seemed to materialize from the very walls. Their glowing eyes and razor-sharp appendages left no doubt about their intent. "Go," Elias shouted, stepping forward to hold the line. His weapon blazed with energy as he unleashed everything he had, buying Mira precious seconds to reach the device's activation point. "Elias, no," Mira cried, her voice breaking. "You don't have to do this." His response was simple, resolute. "Someone has to, make it count." With tears streaming down her face, Mira activated the device, its hum growing into a resonant vibration that seemed to synchronize with the planet itself. The core pulsed with light, reacting to the harmonizing frequencies. "For both our peoples," she whispered, her voice trembling but filled with determination. The machine hummed to life, its energy radiating outward in waves. The planet shuddered violently, its tremors shaking the very ground beneath her feet. For a moment, it felt as though Eden X7 itself was holding its breath, deciding whether to accept or reject the offering. As the core stabilized, Mira collapsed to her knees, exhaustion and emotion overwhelming her. The device's success was uncertain, its effects not yet fully realized, but one thing was clear: they had taken a step toward redemption, however imperfect it might be. She thought of Elias, of his sacrifice, and whispered a silent promise to honor his choice. Above, the surface of Eden X7 began to show signs of change, the molten geysers subsiding as the planet's fury gave way to something resembling calm. The outcome was far from certain, but for the first time, Mira felt a glimmer of hope. This newfound stability set the stage for what would come next, a decision that would redefine humanity's role on Eden X7 and determine whether they could truly coexist with its native life. With the tremors subsiding and an uneasy calm settling over Eden X7, the survivors emerged from the shadows of despair into a fragile dawn. Rhea Voss stood at the heart of what remained of their once ambitious colony, her gaze sweeping over the battered structures and scorched earth that bore witness to humanity's hubris. Her voice, though tempered by exhaustion, carried a weight of resolve as she addressed her crew. "We came here believing we could reshape this world in our image, thinking ourselves saviors. But we were wrong." She paused, letting the gravity of her words sink in. "We weren't saviors, we were invaders, yet perhaps that can change. Perhaps we can leave not as conquerors, but as stewards, caretakers of something far greater than ourselves." Mira Quinn chose to stay behind, her decision met with a mixture of surprise and reverence from the others. For her, there was no other path. The Luminae had trusted her, shared their wisdom, and shown her the interconnected beauty of Eden X7. Leaving now would mean abandoning the fragile bridge she had helped build between two species. As the crew prepared to depart, Solon approached her, his holographic form shimmering faintly in the dim light. "You have chosen a difficult road," he said, his harmonic voice resonating with both gratitude and solemnity. "But know this, your presence here is a seed, a chance for unity where there was once division." Mira nodded, her eyes reflecting a mixture of hope and determination. "I'll do everything I can to nurture that seed," she replied, "for both our peoples." The departure of the human ship marked not just an ending, but a beginning, a moment fraught with uncertainty, yet brimming with possibility. As the vessel ascended into the skies of Eden X7, Rhea stood alone on the observation deck, watching the blue-green planet shrink into the vastness of space. Her thoughts lingered on the choices they had made, the lives lost, and the lessons learned. "This isn't failure," she murmured to herself, her tone firm despite the ache in her chest. "It's a second chance, a chance to rewrite the story of humanity among the stars." The question burned in her mind, unspoken but undeniable: would they carry these hard-earned lessons to the next world they encountered? Or would the cycle of conquest and destruction repeat itself? Back on the surface, Mira worked alongside the Luminae, their harmonies blending with the hum of the planet itself. Each day brought new challenges, new opportunities to heal the wounds humanity had inflicted. Together, they forged a partnership rooted in mutual respect and understanding, a testament to the power of listening over imposing. Solon often spoke of the future, his words carrying a quiet optimism. "Together, we may yet become one with the world," he told Mira one evening, as bioluminescent flora cast an ethereal glow across the landscape. Not as masters, but as participants in its song, as the stars above shifted in their eternal dance, Eden X7 continued its slow recovery, its rhythms syncing with the collective heartbeat of all who called it home. Humanity's mark on the planet remained, a scar, a reminder, but also a symbol of transformation. The question of whether they would learn from their mistakes hung in the balance, unanswered but ever present. And so, the story of Eden X7 became more than a cautionary tale. It became a beacon, a whisper carried on cosmic winds to guide those who dared to dream of new worlds. Will we repeat the past or rise above it? Only time and the courage to change would tell. With that lingering thought, the chapter of Eden X7 closed, but its echoes promised to resonate far beyond the confines of this distant exoplanet. To explore more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the cosmos, one story at a time.